Happy Thanksgiving, fellas. This was an unscheduled show. Had not had any intentions of getting on and doing a show this week, but a couple of people had said something about me not picking the semifinals yet, so I thought I'd jump on right quick and do that. I obviously want to tell you guys Happy Thanksgiving. Lee is with family tonight, and he also wanted to make sure I told all you guys Happy Thanksgiving. I talked on the phone with him a little bit earlier. He went on and told me all his picks for Friday, so I'll give you his picks and mine are almost identical. I think we varied on two games out of all the games. He and I were on opposite sides of two of them, so pretty close as far as who we think is going to do what. So I'm going to take just very brief amount of time tonight and kind of run down the semifinal games with you guys and tell you what I think is going to happen. You can take that with a grain of salt. I was the runner-up in the Coach T Big Ones contest for the regular season, and I think I'm currently second or third for the postseason. So doing pretty good. I did put a post out earlier tonight. Those of you guys that are on my Facebook page will know that you can go to FridayMainEvent.com, and we've had our preseason top 10 up all year. We didn't change it because we wanted to kind of use it as a measuring stick to see how well we did. Happy Thanksgiving, Lawman, right at you, brother. Yeah, I wanted to kind of use it as a measuring stick to see how well we projected what was going to happen this season. And I'm happy to report that all six of our preseason number ones are going to be playing on Friday night, so everybody's still in. Pretty happy with that. Now, some of them we had picked high, didn't do quite as well as we thought they would. I can't think right off the top of my head which ones they were, but there was two or three teams we had in our top five that didn't advance too far in the postseason. But for whatever reason, it's COVID year, so you got to cut us a little slack on that. But I think of the quarterfinal round, I think most of our top five teams made in each class made at least a quarterfinal rounds. There was only two or three exceptions to that. Covington was one of them. Of course, they got knocked out because of COVID, so I do believe they would have been a quarterfinal team had it not been for that. So, uh, we did pretty good. Looking at the games for Friday, guys, in Class 1A, you got Cofield. They beat Oliver Springs 36 to nothing. I picked Cofield to win that game. I didn't think it would be that big a margin of victory, but Keith Henry's got his team playing really well. Seth Lowe, the big 6'1", 210 running back, man, he's playing really well right now, and he's going to need a big game if these guys are going to have a shot at South Pitt. I don't see it. We had South Pitt as our preseason number one, and I think, as most of you guys agree, I think South Pitt is the best 1A team in the state this year. Big Grouter squad loaded with talent. Braden Sanders having a great year. And then, of course, you got Hunter Frame, the Mr. Football finalist, having a big year. You got a healthy DeAndre Kelly now. And then the other Mr. Football semifinalist, Jared Stone, also having a huge year, up front for those guys. So I like South Pittsburgh to win that game. Honestly, I don't even think that game's gonna be real close. It's at South Pittsburgh. I would be shocked if Cofield keeps this game within 21 points. I'm not belittling Keith Henry's squad. He's just up against one of the best South Pittsburgh teams Vic Grouder's had in several years. So I like them. Fayetteville. I actually went and saw Fayetteville in Moore County last week. Fayetteville has got a lot of speed on the field. That freshman KJ Jackson, man, he's exactly what 1,257 yards heading into that game. He's exactly what you would think. That kid he's legit. Kenny Morrison I thought he had a great game plan last week. He went with Holmeyer there at starting quarterback, as he should. He's a big kid. He throws a really nice ball, but I think Moore County was very prepared headed into that. Coach White did a really good job. I've had a real good game plan going into that game. They went to I knew I was going to forget his name. But they went Wildcat there in the second half. Coach Morrison did. with, I'm sorry, man, I'm forgetting that kid's name, and I can't believe I did that. I should have looked it up before I started the show, but it'll probably come to me here in a minute. But they went to Wildcat, there in the second half, and I think that totally caught Moore County off guard. They were able to move the ball down the field, just very methodical, and a long scoring drive that went ahead. I think it was 26-21 at the time when he made that change, and Moore County didn't really have an answer. But it was a great game, man. I enjoyed it. Moore County didn't have anything to hang their heads about. A good ball team and had a good year. But uh, I'm 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 not sure about this game here. Lake County is the defending state champs, and I think they're going to be tough. The Falcons are tough, and Fayetteville's got to travel to Lake County. This was one of the games I struggled with. This is one of the two games Lee and I disagreed with. I went with Fayetteville because they have so much team speed. Uh, I like I like their chances here. I think Lake County, those kids, a lot of them that were in that state title game last year, they're going to have the edge as far as experience goes. But I don't know if they can athletically match up with Fayetteville. I think Fayetteville's got, like I said, man, they got a lot of team speed. They're really fast, really quick. And you got to remember this Fayetteville team haven't they haven't lost a game in 2 years outside of Marion County, and then they played a Gordonsville team when they had 5 of their starters out because of that altercation earlier in the year. Who was that against? Who did they had a fight with somebody anyway right before Gordonsville game, so they had a lot of their starters out, so I don't put a lot of stock in that loss. So I'm going with Fayetteville in that one. So I've got Fayetteville and I've got South Pitt in the 1A matchup. What do you think about that, Long Man? You still with me, brother? You going with that? I don't know. Says there's a few other people watching, but nobody else is talking. So just me and you, Long Man. Meigs County and Trousdale County. That's the game I'm going to be at. I'm going to Creek Bank. I talked to my boy Cam, who does the play-by-play, or he's a color guy over there with Cheese at Trousdale County. I'm going to do the halftime show with those guys. He asked me to do that this weekend, or excuse me, today. So I'm gonna get on with those guys at halftime. But I'll be over there on the Creek Bank. I think this is probably going to be the best game in the state. We had Trousdale County preseason #1. Long Man like South Pitt. There you go, brother. Me too. I think this is going to be one of the best games, if not the best game in the state. So I'm going to be over there to check that one out. Trousdale County, I mean, both of these teams really, really well coached. A lot of talent. Will Meadows had a huge game last week against South Green. I think that was Mr. Football finalist against Mr. Football finalist. I think Coach Fitzgerald wanted to give his boy a lot of exposure, and Will didn't let him down. Will had a huge game. Trousdale County, Cameron Rankins also had a huge game last week against Watertown. I think Lee picked Watertown. I picked the Yellow Jackets. I told Coach Satterfield today, I said, I appreciate you making me look smart last week. So, but I've got, like I say, man, I had any team I had preseason #1, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I'm not going away from it. It'd be kind of dumb to do at this point in the season. So I'm going Trousdale County, but I think this is a one-score game. If these two teams, I think I said on Coach T earlier this week, if these two teams had 10 games on a neutral field, I think it would probably be 5-5. It's not on a neutral field Friday. It's at Trousdale County, and Creek Bank's a tough place to go beat somebody. Me and Lawn Man like Trousdale County. Lee Teague likes Trousdale County. Waverly Central and Peabody. I can't root against my guy, Coach Jacobs. Man, he's won 2 state titles in a row. His team's 12-0 heading into the season. We had them, I think, as our #2 team, I believe. So, again, they haven't done anything to make me get off of them at this point in the season. However, Randall Bolden's Waverly Central squad is playing really well. They shut out Riverside, I think, for the second time this year last week, 21-0, or excuse me, 14-0. I think they beat them 21-0 the first time. So, I don't know whether that's the case whether they had Coach Frost's number or or they're just that much better. I don't think again Riverside hadn't scored a point on them all year, so I think this is going to be a low scoring game. I'm looking at probably like maybe a 21-17 type game. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of points scored in this one, but I like Peabody to win a close game. Class 3A, Lawman, you going Peabody? I hear you, brother. Class 3A, Alcoa and Red Bank. Uh, I don't know, man. Who was it? Was somebody. Who was it I was talking to today? It was Big Dave. Big Dave thinks Red Bank has got a good shot at this one. I don't see it, man. I think Alcoa walks in this game. Chris Brown's team is 9-0. I mean, they've had a heck of a year. But man, I don't see them having the horses to run with Alcoa. I don't see anybody having the horses to run with Alcoa outside of possibly Pearl Cone, and we know how that went last year. I mean, this is if those two teams advance, it's basically going to be a rematch of last year's title game because all those kids are essentially back from last year. Uh, defense, defense, defense. You're darn right, long man. Alcoa, they are very tough to score on. 49-13 over GP last week. Red Bank 24-14 over Loudon last week. Pearl Cone and Milan. This may be a really good game here. Milan looks good. My boy Anthony Brown's done a heck of a job there at quarterback for Milan, and he's also a Mr. Football finalist. And then you got Pearl Cone is just eat up with athletes. I mean, you look everywhere. You got blue chippers. You got kids that are going to be playing D1 all over that roster for Pearl Cone. Martino Owens is having a really good year. I mean, they've only played 8 games, including 3 postseason games, but he's completed over 1,500 yards here heading into this one. 60% of our followers on Twitter like the Firebirds. I forgot to. I hadn't been throwing that out there. I do have that on here. Alcoa, 88% of our Twitter followers at Tennessee Sports like Alcoa. And then I'm backing up. 53% like Meigs County. That's our closest poll, I think, on Twitter. So moving on to 4A. I said this is going to be a quick show, but you like PC? You like, Pearl Cone. Lawman likes Pearl Cone. Lawman, we've been right together so far, brother, so you might be smarter than I thought you was. Elizabethton and Nolensville. Elizabethton is coming over to Nolensville Friday. They had a close game with Greenville, much closer. It was 44-10 first meeting, 24-20 the other night. I don't know. I don't think that is much of an indictment on Elizabethton digressing as it is as to how much better Greenville's gotten. I'm sure Lawman could speak more on that, but I think Betsy's going to get it done. I think Greenville has gotten that much better in the last 4 or 5 weeks. Sean Witten, he's tough to beat. He's excellent. Win big games, and then you got Bryson Rollins. What can you say? He's having a huge year, and then he's got Troy Hughes. You get 2 Mr. Football finalists there with Rollins and Hughes. In my opinion, Bryson Rollins deserves that award. Well, both of them deserve it, but you can't give it to both of them. Of the 2, I'd probably go with Bryson Rollins. Despite the fact he's a junior, I think he's the gas that makes that engine run, no doubt. Lexington and Haywood. This was a tough one, and this wasn't. I was going to say this was the other one Lee and I disagreed on, but I think Lexington may have played just a little bit tougher schedule. And of course they did lose to Milan, but they've beaten Hardin County a couple of times, and I don't know. You look at Haywood. I mean, they had 3 tough games: Henry County, Covington, and what was the other one? Anyway, all 3 of their losses, their tough games, they didn't get the W in. So, I like Chris Smith. We had him on a couple weeks ago. He's a great coach, but in the games that they were tested the hardest, and of course 2 of them were the first 2 games of the year, so you kind of get a buy on that. We had Haywood in the title game. You can go look at our preseason polls. We had them in the title game, but I mean, I got to give Coach Hollingsworth's team credit, man. They've played a tough schedule, and they're 12-1. 56% of our fan base likes Lexington. Me and Lawman are going to go Lexington. But I wouldn't be surprised a bit. And a matter of fact, I hope they do. No offense to Coach Hollingsworth, but I like our guys that have been on the show to make it up to Cookeville. So I'm going to be pulling for Chris Smith because I want to interview him up there post game. But it's going to be a tough game, and it's one of those coin toss games. South Doyle at Oak Ridge, two teams, nobody, including us, gave a shot at winning last week. So I'm happy for Joe Gaddis and Clark Duncan, two of my favorite coaches. Both these guys have been doing it for a long time. And this should be a really good game, man. I mean, this is one of those situations we can't lose in 5A, man, because out of all four coaches in the semifinals have been on the Friday main event this year. So I think you guys may have saw that post I put on Facebook this week. I think 18 of the 24 coaches Friday night have been on this show this year. And I'll bet money there's no other show statewide that can lay claim to that. So that's pretty cool that again, 18 of the 24 coaches playing Friday night were on our show this year. So hey, I'll pat myself on the back a little bit on that one. We've had a good run this year. But getting back to this game, man, I got to go Joe Gaddis. He tells me that that offensive line is the best one he's had in years. And, of course, Mitchell Gibbons is having a heck of a year at quarterback. But, I mean, look at the other side, Noah Myers, Terrell Brown, Lex Scott. You know, some of those got athletes. Obviously, they were able to knock Central off last week. So, who knows? This is a lot of coin toss games in the semifinals. This is among them. But me and Lawman like the Wildcats, as do 71% of my followers on Twitter at Tennessee Sports. They like the Wildcats. Summit and Henry County. We had Brian Coleman on with us last week. Big game, big win for them. That's another game I missed, man. I thought with one of those Wade guys out, Keaton's out. He's still out, as far as I know. But Destin had one hell of a game last week. I forgot to put his stats here on my notes, but I know he was over 200 yards passing and right at it for rushing as well, I think. So, you know, he had a well of a game against Beach, and they needed every bit of those yards as they only won that game 36-29. But we thought Coach Crabtree, coming off of that big win over Hillsboro, would win that game. But, you know, give Coach Coleman credit, man. He had a heck of a game plan, and Destin came up big for him. Henry County, you know, our boy Ryan Dameron over to his dad, TJ, big follower of the show. 60% of our fan base like Henry County to win this game. I think this is going to, you know, again, we got another coin flip. I think this one could go either way. You got Henry County, and this is one that Lee and I split on. Lee likes Henry County, and I got to go with Summit. I had Summit preseason number one, and like I told you at the start of this show, any team I had preseason number one, I'm not going to get off of them at this point in the season. Despite the fact that one of the Wade kids is out, they're still winning. And you got to remember, Beach beat Henry County earlier in the season. So when you look at common opponents, you got to give a little edge to Summit. You got to give home field advantage to Henry County. So, again, it's one of them games, man. Flip a coin. And Lee and I landed on opposite sides of this coin. And Lawman going with Lee. He going with Henry County. That's not a bad pick, Lawman, but I explained to you why I'm going Summit. I had Summit all year. I'm not gonna back out on them right now, man. I got them right there to the finish line. It'd be kind of dumb to get off of them right here, so I'm gonna stay with them. Going to 6A, Maryville and Oakland. The Rebels head over to Oakland, and the history between these programs the last 4 or 5 years is the home team wins. And I think that's what's going to happen this year. I think Oakland's very stout. Jordan James, Victor Stevenson, Antonio Patterson, Isaiah Horton, and you know they're loaded with talent at the skill positions. Maryville is probably going to give them fits up front. They've been very good defensively. I was surprised DB put 28 up on them last week. That's the most points Maryville's given up in a long time, the last 2 years. So that would, if I'm a Maryville fan, that would be a little cause for concern. I understand DB's had a very potent offense all year. They've scored a lot of points, but Maryville just doesn't give up that many points. So I was shocked to see that game 35-28. And then Riverdale beat a really good. I'm sorry, Oakland beat a very good Riverdale team 39-14 last week. And I think Kevin Creasy toward the end of the season, I think he kind of pulled the reins in a little bit. You know, they had a close game there with closer game than what I thought they should have had with like Coffee County and Warren County at the end of the season, and you're like, well, you know, what the heck's going on with the Patriots? You know, they should be winning these games by a lot larger margin. But credit Kevin Creasy. He's thinking 3 steps ahead of everybody else, as he usually does, and I think he may have been very restricted in playing time for his key components. He wants to make sure those kids are available here in this third round semifinal, final. So I think that's the reason why you saw those scores a little unusually close there in the end of the regular season. But they're turning it back up now. He's kind of turned the dogs loose, loosened the leash a little bit, and his offense put up 39 on a really good Riverdale team last week. So I like Oakland to get by Maryville with the home field advantage. And moving on to the last game, Brentwood and Bartlett. You got to wonder how far Bartlett would have gotten in this playoff postseason had Whitehaven, White Station, Memphis Central, and all those teams over in Region 8 had they been allowed to play. Will we even be talking about this game? Probably not, because I think Whitehaven was set to make a deep run. We had them. That's another team. I mentioned teams we had in our top 5 that didn't get this far into the season, and Whitehaven was one of them. I think we would have been and we actually had projected, if you go back and look at our seedings, we had Brentwood and Whitehaven projected in this game. Well, we had half of it right. Heck, we didn't know we didn't know that Whitehaven was going to get to play at the time we put out those picks. But anyway, I'm rambling. 73% of our fan base liked the Bruins. Big win last week over Donnie Webb's team, and hats off to Donnie Webb, man. That Franklin Admiral squad. I forgot they changed their mascot this year. That Franklin Admiral squad was really good, man. They came on, had some huge upsets there in the postseason. Really happy for Donnie Webb. We had him on last week. Class act, great coach. But Ron, you can say the same thing about Ron Crawford. Ron Crawford's one of the best, man. He's got 177 wins overall now. So, I mean, the guy's been doing it for a long time. He's got a lot of success. Lawman likes Oakland and Brentwood. I agree with you, Lawman. I think Oakland and Brentwood will be your 6A finals on next Saturday night. Really excited to head over to Cookeville and not excited. What I'm not excited about is I got my Matthew Gillespie sent me the restrictions. They're not going to feed us, man. I got used to that over the years. I know that's pitiful, but they're not going to feed us this year. The media tent is going to be restricted, only 30 members in the media tent at one time. And for some of those games, man, that's especially the bigger schools. And Knoxville brings a lot of media up to Cookeville. So those games, like with South Doyle and Oak Ridge, whoever comes out of that, that game's going to have a lot of people, no doubt. So I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how they're going to do that in the media tent if you have over 30 members. I don't know what the heck they're going to do. I guess we'll find out. I might not even be in a media tent for some of these games, but we'll see how they prioritize that. Uh, yeah, Peabody Pride, you are late to the party, big guy. But you can rewind it. That's the good thing about YouTube. You can play it back, man, catch up. We gave all our picks. Me and Lawn Man did anyway. Lawn Man's been my co-host tonight. Lee Teat is with family. He's celebrating Thanksgiving as he should. So he didn't come in for this one. This wasn't planned anyway. This was last minute. Uh, but that's it, man. Like I say, if you missed part of the show, Peabody Pride, just rewind back, brother, and check it out. You don't want to miss a minute of Friday main event, I'm sure. so we've got all the picks out there. We'll be up at Cookeville. I'll be over at Creek Bank tomorrow night. So if any of you guys from Meigs County, Trousdale County can be at that game, I'll have Friday main event hat shirt. I'll be on the sideline. I'll probably be doing a little bit of filming. So holler at me, man. Let me know who you are on Coach T or who you are here on YouTube. And I love meeting new people and love talking high school football. So holler at me there. And if not, if you're in Cookeville next week, holler at us up there. Lee and I'll be up there all day Friday and Saturday. Really look forward to that. And again, happy Thanksgiving to you guys, man. I hope you have a great day tomorrow. Don't eat too much turkey and spend time with your family, man. This crazy COVID stuff. I don't give a crap about what they say. If you got a family of 100, celebrate with 100. They're hey, we don't live in China, man. You do what you want to do. Don't worry about that COVID crap. That's my opinion anyway. But appreciate you guys, man. We'll be here next time you see us. It'll be 2 p.m. I think that's December the 6th. That's a Sunday after the Blue Cross Bowl. Lee and I will do a live show here. We'll have all the coaches on from all the games on Friday and Saturday. I'm going to try to get some more player interviews, more than we had last year. We'll play all that for you. We'll discuss the games, kind of give you our thoughts on the games and how the teams perform. But again, man, happy Thanksgiving to you guys. I appreciate you guys hanging with us all year. It's been a great year on the Friday main event. Appreciate you guys on the live chat tonight, man. Again, wasn't planned this, but glad you guys jumped on and joined in. All right, man. We'll see you guys in a week and a half.